Hey there guys, it's Dashabella and Nightfall, and welcome back to Star Equestrian, and welcome back to the channel guys. I know it's been a hot minute since my last upload. I kind of took a bit of an impromptu break because my computer broke, so I was just like, I think it's a good time to have a break, and I'm really glad I had one because I feel way better playing Star Equestrian now than I did like 2 to 3 weeks ago. So I guess that's like a good thing considering I took a break. But during my break, a lot of stuff was added into the game. We were due for our Halloween update, which as you can see around us right now, we have all of our Halloween decorations for the year. And I kind of feel like for Halloween this year, we definitely had a big upgrade compared to last year. Because like, if I'm not mistaken, for last year, we had town decorations, but we didn't have as many. We had one limited time fantasy horse. This year we have two. Okay, we have 2 fantasy horses this year for Halloween, which is actually a little bit crazy. Did we have quests last year? No, I don't believe we had quests. I mean, we did. No, we did not have quests. Okay, yes, I remember now. We do not have quests last year. We do not have quests this year either, but we actually did end up getting a couple of freebies for Halloween this year. So the first one, which is probably the most obvious, we have a Halloween daily login reward. At the time of recording this video, I'm recording on Friday. It's still going to be around for 2 weeks, but if you log in for 7 days, you will get a witch's hat at the end of the 7-day period. The great thing about this one is that you don't need to log in. Sorry guys, my phone is like going off. You don't need to log in for 7 days consecutively. As long as you just log in 7 days before before Halloween ends, you will be able to get the witch's hat. The rewards as well are really awesome. You get a bunch of potions for breeding. So if you are somebody that is into breeding and you don't want to spend money on potions, then yeah, definitely just log in, claim your rewards, and you're going to be good. Another freebie that we ended up getting, this is not a freebie that you're going to get immediately. So all players are able to get vampire fangs. Yes, I know. It is a purple cosmetic. Hang on. So this is the witch's hat because I did not show this to you guys. Really cute witch's hat. You can make it a bunch of colors. So yeah, get the witch's hat. Super cute. But aside the witch's hat, in the face cosmetic, you have, wait, where is it? Oh, here it is. Sorry guys. So you can put in vampire fangs if you really wanted to. And this is apparently a 6-star cosmetic. So to get the vampire fangs, if you haven't gotten them already, all you need to do is you need to have another player that has the vampire fangs equipped to bite you. And yeah, I'm not joking. You need to have another player bite you if you want to get that free cosmetic. And I promise you guys, everyone is very happy to bite each other. So just type in English chat, ask anybody like, hey guys, is there anyone out there that can, come and bite me? I want the vampire fangs. You'll probably have a horde of people running at you wanting to bite you. So just be prepared. I've been bitten too many times, okay? So after becoming a vampire, people can still bite you, but yeah, you'll get a red notification saying someone tried to bite you, but you're already a vampire. I get a lot of those every day. So just be aware, there are people that are a little bit trigger happy with the whole biting thing. Now, also for Halloween, a couple of things kind of changed actually for the Halloween decorations. So I remember last year, this was green, I think, but it's red this year. So this is red. The cracks are also red. I think they were green last year as well. I mean, I could be misremembering. And also, okay, I know this is not a Halloween thing, but technically it came with the Halloween update. Star Equestrian's sky got updated. And they updated this for a very, very important reason. We have a moon. Yeah, we have a moon, and it's really pretty as well. I'm going to try and see if I can get the moon to come up for us. I am very bad at chasing moons. There it is. So we have a moon. We have an eclipsed moon today, but this moon can be like a half moon. It can be a crescent moon. It can be a full moon. I think it depends on the in-game day. So for today's in-game day, it is a eclipsed moon. But we have a moon, and it's gorgeous if you can get that moon to fully pop up, especially for the photo contest. I've seen a lot of people, and if you haven't done any of the photo voting, you are going to be seeing a lot of full moon pictures. Oh, by the way, I think you guys may have seen already. Okay, so my little alicorn foal. I know I did not reveal this foal to you guys in my last video because I think I just bred it. Here he is, fully grown. And yeah, I paid to keep the foal because, oh my gosh, I love this foal so much. But here is my dream alicorn, fully grown up. And honestly, this alicorn fits for Halloween. I think she is she, it. I don't know if it's a he or a she yet, but the name is Nightfall. Nightfall is gorgeous. I love Night. Night is really pretty. I just love how the colors work on the pattern. I love the main color and how it interacts with the body color as well. And Night's eyes, I feel like, are hidden gems. Like, I didn't realize how pretty this was going to look until this horse fully grew up. So I love Night. If anything, Night does look a bit like a vampire horse to me. I'd love to see Night in the vampire attack set because I think that would really match the theme that we kind of have going for with this alicorn. But I know some of you guys have been seeing me riding this horse around town already. So if you did see this horse, you're super lucky. But if you didn't, here's the reveal. I love this horse so much. I'm so happy. I am so glad I bred this alicorn. You know, it was super expensive, but 100% worth the breeding, I feel. Speaking of Halloween horses, I think it's time we do talk about the fantasy limiteds for this year. So the banner this year is called Creatures of the Night. We do have 2 themed Halloween horses this year. So we have a werewolf themed horse and a vampire themed horse, which is obviously why we had a lot of vampire themes around Heartside. I think what they did this year was because it was vampire themed, they decided to turn the fountain into like, I don't know if it's like wine or blood. I'm guessing it's blood, but you know, it's a bit bright for blood. But they probably went like really all in on the vampire theme because we also have an outfit. So here's the banner real quick. Before we go into that, we have a vampire outfit. It's the Vampire Lord outfit. It was literally added 2 days ago on Wednesday because we actually got the wild horse update. We're not going to talk about wild horses in today's video because the wild horses are currently disabled because it bugged out the game. The game was actually so bugged out that the devs had to basically pause the wild horses. So there's no wild horses at the moment. They are available in game, but nobody can do anything with them. You can't even catch them, look at them or anything. So I will be doing a separate video on wild horses when they're re-enabled, but they are disabled. But this outfit came with the wild horse update. It is not a full set. So what you're seeing on the screen right now, the outfit, the hat, the neck piece and the earrings are part of the Vampire Lord outfit. You don't get the hair color or the eyes that they're showing on the avatars. Those are separate things that you're gonna have to buy. And the vampire fangs, you need a player to bite you if you want to get access to those. So just a heads up. If you really want to have matching eyes and hair, that's going to cost you extra gems. So the outfit, just a heads up, 3,500 gems. That's about 35 real life dollars for this outfit, which I personally feel is a little bit steep. If we get a double gem sale, I probably would not mind buying this on half price, but 35,000 gems, personally, I feel is quite steep for an outfit. If you want the matching hair and eyes, I believe the eyes, we got new eyes by the way actually for Halloween. Only VIPs are able to buy these colored eyes. 3,000 gems. I think you can see the price for most of them anyway. 3,000 gems for a bunch of like a very bright fluorescent colored eyes. I don't feel like these are worth 3,000 gems. Like this is basically the cost of the outfit, but just for a pair of eyes. I mean, if you like them and if you can afford them, that's great. I just kind of feel like this is a money sink unless you are somebody that's like getting a bunch of free gems all the time, or if you have a bunch of money to just blow. Yeah, I can't justify the price for these eyes. Like if they dropped it to 1,000, like the regular colored eyes, like maybe people would consider it. But yeah, 3,000 is just really steep. The hair color, I don't think these were new. Yeah, these are old. So the one that they were showing, actually no, we did get some new ones, I think. Hang on, where's the red one? Is it that one? I think it's this one. It's 1,000 gems. So it's not too bad, I guess, if you want that color. Oh, but they did add this hair color. They added a couple of like I don't know if it was just this one. I think they added a few more as well. Like just a bunch of dual toned hair colors. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of any of these. I do like my normal blonde hair. So we're gonna leave that. Let's go back to the Creatures of the Night banner, because I feel like this is what I want to talk about the most in today's video. I have feedback on the horses. I also have feedback for the banner itself, because this banner, my perspective on this banner is totally different compared to the Flutterwing. It is actually such a different banner. A lot of my feelings of this are actually quite negative. So I hope you guys are ready for some negative vibes. Go grab like a drink or something, or put some happy music on. I don't know. Let's try to not make this video too like sad. So the surprising thing for this year was that we got 2 new limited time horses for Halloween. So this is the werewolf horse. This is the lichen diamane. So the full set. So this is also with the exclusive tack set that also comes with this horse, just like the Flutterwing, how they had the tack set. This is the one for the lichen diamane. And I do like the theming behind this horse. Like, it's a werewolf horse, you know, basically like big wolf horse. You have giant paws on this horse. That was like one of the first things I noticed, which I thought was actually kind of hilarious. Giant paws. I love the collar. I think the collar was such a awesome idea, because you think of a werewolf, like dogs wear collars, but this is like a huge chained collar, you know, something that you use to like restrain a dangerous animal. I think the collar was such a awesome idea. The tack set itself, you know, it's very plain. It's a little bit bland, but I think just the theming of it, it matches the lichen diamane, because like you wouldn't really expect a horse like this to have like gems and jewels and fine tack pieces, you know. It's like very rugged. There's pieces of cloth everywhere. It's sort of just like ragtag put together. I do like the little metal, like the metal piece on the saddle itself, as well as on the saddle pad. So yeah, I do like how this horse looks and its tack set. Like, it just looks really awesome as a completed horse. Do I like it? Yes. Do I want it? Like, yeah, I think it's cool looking, but I'm not like, I need this horse, you know? Now here's the vampire horse. The Transylvanian Night Stalker is the name for the horse, which is very, very long name, by the way. I hope you guys are ready to say that. But it is a very, very pretty, very refined and cursed looking horse. I do think they did a really good job in encapsulating the idea of like what a vampire is, right? Like, vampires are very cursed, gothic beings. They've survived for eons, so they would have been around for basically since the beginning of time. So I just like this very refined look. The new mane style, this is new, by the way. We don't have any braiding like this. I think this is really cool. It's a very thick braid, and I love the little like just tendrils of extra mane on the front here. I think this is really cool, and how they've actually balanced it around the horns, because this horse also has built-in horns. Really, really cool. I do like how they've done the mane. The tail is looking a little funky, I think. Like, the little gem piece thing at the bottom, it kind of bobbles around, it kind of bugs out. Like, the idea of the tail looks really cool. I think execution was just a little eh. I mean, the idea of it was really cool. The overall horse, I do think, looks really awesome though. The tack set is really what puts this horse together, I think. The blanket, okay, this is the first not in-game blanket that we've had, like a long one, because we have a couple of long blankets. This is like the first new one that we have. I do like the blanket, it looks really cool. The texturing on it makes it look like it's draped over the horse, which I do like. The saddle itself, very gothic looking, really matches the theming behind the vampire horse. I like the runic markings going down and actually glowing on the horse's body. I do feel like that is something you kind of think about when you see vampires, right? Like, because they're like these cursed beings, like they know some kind of magic, right? Like runic magic. And then on the eyes, I think the eyes for the horse is really cool. The fangs were a cute bonus, I think. Like, it makes sense that they were going to have fangs. I don't like how they're like at the front though. I thought it would make a bit more sense having the fangs a little bit more to the side, but that's just like a personal little pet peeve. But I do like the Transylvanian Night Stalker. But, okay, I think just like the werewolf, I am not hugely inclined to being like, I need this horse, you know? Like, it's a really cool looking horse. I would love to have it, and I would love to show it on the channel. But this is not a horse where I'm just like, oh my gosh, I really, really need the horse, you know? I think it's because I think it's because Christmas is so close, and because of how cool the Halloween horses look, I kind of feel like the Christmas horse this year is going to be extra special, and I'm actually more excited for Christmas than I am for Halloween. But don't get me wrong, I do like the theming for this year's Halloween horses. Now, here's the problem. We have a bit of a problem with these two horses, okay? So both of the new limiteds are in the same banner. And so because they're in the same banner, they have split down the middle the odds of getting the new fantasy horse. So the Flutterwing banner, for example, it was a 5% chance of getting the Flutterwing. If you want to get either the Night Stalker or the Lycan, you only have a 2.5% chance of getting either of these horses in the banner this year, which is very, very low. If you want to collect both, the odds of you getting both of them are incredibly low. What makes it worse for this banner? Okay, I want you to pay attention to the cost of the banner. The banner costs 3,000 gems. It is exactly the same as the Flutterwing banner. The odds for this banner are worse than the Flutterwing. I'm going to say it again. The odds for the banner this year are much worse than the Flutterwing banner earlier this year. For the Flutterwing banner, we only had, I think, a 25% chance of getting a 4-star horse. For Halloween this year, they have bumped this up to 65% to get a 4-star horse. And this has caused quite a bit of outrage within the Star Equestrian community because we are spending 3,000 gems. Okay, that is the equivalent of, it's basically 1,000 more than the regular mystical stable banner, but 1,000 less than the Pegasus banner. This is a banner that basically nobody wins in unless you are ludicrously lucky and you are able to get the new fantasy horse within, like, let's say the first 3 to 5 summons. It is so incredibly easy to pull a trash 4-star that you don't want. If you're a new player, like, whatever you pull from this banner is going to be a win for you because, you know, if you don't have a lot of horses, that is totally fine. But for long-time players like me, the odds of me pulling a dupe on this are so incredibly high, it is almost not even worth pulling for the banner. Like, not even worth pulling to try to get a fantasy from this. Oh, I do want to add on to this as well. Last year's fantasy horse is in the fantasy pool. So if you do proc the 10% fantasy odds for the banner, then you do have a chance of actually getting the Haunted Arabian. However, if you get the Haunted Arabian, you will not get the skeleton puppy pet. It is also in the fantasy pool, but it is separated. So you actually have a chance of getting the skeleton puppy as one of your pulls if you try to pull for one of the new feature horses, which I am personally not a fan of this because it is diluting the pool of fantasy horses that you could get if you do proc the 10% chance. And I did mention this to a couple of friends, I think in the Discord as well, that if this is what's going to happen for future limited time banners, if horses get thrown into the fantasy pool, you know, and their stuff gets thrown in as well, I'd be pretty upset if, let's say, these two Halloween horses, they're thrown in the limited pool. I'd be pretty upset if I got like one piece of tack for 3,000 gems, which is basically one of the summons. I think a lot of people would be not even a little, like very upset because that means you might even get duplicate tack pieces if you're trying to collect an entire set. Like if you grab the whole set, if you manage to win the entire set, I think that's fine. Okay, I think it's fine if you win an entire set, but if you get like one saddle or one saddle pad or one bridle for each 3,000 gems that you're summoning, oh my gosh, I think you're going to be annoying so many players. So I do hope this is a bug. If you click on this, it shows the Acer Frisian for some reason. I think this is just not updated. But yeah, I think a lot of people are going to be incredibly upset, myself included, because I don't want this puppy pet. And if I pull this, I would be really, really mad. I'm not joking, guys. I'd be really, really mad. I don't even want this puppy. It's got floppy bone ears. I think that was my complaint with this horse last year. Like, who puts floppy bone ears on a skeleton puppy? So yeah, this banner has caused quite a bit of outrage. And also I've heard one story. There's already been one tragic story with this banner already. So at the moment, none of the developers have confirmed whether there is pity on this banner or not. In case you guys did not know, gifted summons do not count towards a banner's pity. Okay, I just want to make that very, very clear. Gifted summons do not count towards a person's pity. There is already a story out there on the Discord. If you haven't heard it already, please pay attention. There is a player on the server, their name was Sinister Puppet, and all they wanted was the Transylvania Night Stalker. And they had a friend of theirs gift them summons to try to help them get this horse. They did get this horse at the end of the day, but it came at a very hefty cost of 80 summons, I think, in total. 80 summons to get the Transylvanian Night Stalker. Keep in mind, okay, they did get the Lycan Diamane. They got, I think, like 3 or 4 Lycan Diamanes during those 80 summons, but it took them 80 in total to get the Transylvanian Night Stalker, which was absolutely ludicrous. Like, when I read that story, I was like, oh my gosh. And I remember reading that they were counting it in the Discord. They were going up to 40 and they said nothing. They went up to 60, they got nothing. And they did eventually get it to 80. And I'm so happy that they did finally get this horse. But oh my gosh, 80 summons just to be able to get both horses. Like, if this is the horse that they wanted, 80 summons. I'm going to do some math for you guys, just in case you need a little bit of help. So these are gifted summons, FYI. Gifted summons, you can only gift them 1 by 1. So you can never get the 10 summon discount. Each summon is 3,000 gems. 3,000 gems is the equivalent of about $30, okay? So I want you to imagine this. 10 summons is $300. Now, I want you to start doing some math here. 80 summons, okay? If 10 summons is $300, how much is 80 summons altogether? Okay, I'm going to give you a moment to do some math. If you don't want to do the math, it's okay. Just wait a second. 80 summons. Okay. In total, Sinister Puppet's friend spent $2,400 in total to get the vampire horse. That was how bad the odds are. And this is how bad it is to not have a guarantee on these banners. You might be catching yourself spending so much money for a pixel horse that with that amount of money, it's just not worth it. That is rent for people. That is somebody's monthly living cost. For some people, even in certain regions, that is their entire year's salary, their entire year's living cost. So absolutely crazy that there is no kind of protection set in place on these banners for players who are trying to collect horses. I feel there should be a maximum amount of money spent for somebody to be guaranteed this horse. This banner is not fair at all. It is not fair. There are other gacha games that have systems set in play where if you do enough summons on a banner, you are guaranteed to get the featured horse. You would get a extra piece of currency. So like each summon, you would get like a token. And if you ended up doing 20 summons, you got 20 tokens, and you did not get the feature, then you'd be able to spend your token to buy that thing or horse or character outright in a separate shop. I don't know why this is not a thing here in Star Equestrian, because at the moment the sky's the limit for spending, especially if you're trying to collect everything in the game, which is why I personally don't do that. Okay, I do not collect everything in this game because I understand that if I try to do that, it is going to be ludicrously expensive, and I don't want to sit here and basically promote gambling to people, because that is basically an overconsumption. That's another thing. I do not want to be promoting overconsumption on a video game. Okay, like, yes, I know there are some people out there that do this because they can afford it, and that's totally fine. That is their personal choice. But at the same time, like, I don't want to sit here and convince people like, hey, this is totally worth it for this pixel horse. Like, it's not. It is not. If you want to try to pull for one of these horses, please be my guest, okay? You can absolutely try, but please don't spend your life savings to get one of these horses. They'll be back next year, and you'll be better off buying during the double gem sale rather than spending full price for these horses, okay? So yeah, good luck if you want to try and grab one of these horses. The odds are not in our favor. It is really not. And if you want to be extra spendy, you know, and if you want to save some money, I do encourage you guys to wait till the end of the banner. We did not get a sale during the Luminous Spirit banner, which was very unfortunate, but we might get one for this one because this is a new banner. So if you think you want to try and pull for the banner, but you're also willing to be patient, wait. Wait for the last weekend that this banner is around. We may end up getting a sale, because if we do, then at least the summons are going to be half price. It will be much more affordable for a lot of people to try and pull for the Halloween horses, okay? So guys, please be patient. Don't be spendy. Just lock up your wallets, you know, do whatever you need to do. Just make sure you don't overspend on this banner because like the horses are pretty. They really are. They're really, really pretty horses. But when I checked their stats and everything, these horses they're not game breaking, which is a good thing. Like, these horses are not game breaking. They are not necessary to be able to succeed in the game. You can absolutely get other more affordable horses to do competitions and stuff with. One thing I do feel is a little pay to win for these horses is their tack sets. So both tack sets have speed as one of their primary stats. The vampire tack set though has speed and agility as primary, whereas the werewolf set has stamina and speed. So the vampire set is predominantly built for show jumping in mind, but this is not any kind of show jumping. This is more for show jumping where speed is more of a factor and you don't need as much acceleration. The Lycan set is more for cross country and maybe even show jumping as well, if you can compensate for jump elsewhere. So both of these tack sets have very, very desirable stats on them. So if you are a competitive player, then I think you would be encouraged maybe even to grab one of these tack sets because they do have very desirable stats. Is it game breaking? I don't think so. I'm pretty sure there are other ways that you can compensate for stats. So even if you don't have access to these tack sets, you know, we can train our horses. We have traits now, so we can compensate in other areas. But yeah, I am kind of feeling a little bit of a squeeze with the Halloween banner, especially with how they've sort of made the horses and the tack sets. Oh, sorry, we didn't look at the stats for the new horses. Werewolf horse, okay. 100 speed, acceleration, stamina. This is a racehorse. This is a racehorse. This horse is literally built for racing. So if you do get the Lycan Diamine, you have your racehorse, or at least one of your racehorses anyway. Its masteries are not really that great, unfortunately, for racing. So we have a acceleration and speed perk for the first lap. I do believe this actually works for racing. So in races, you will get a bit of a speed boost. We still don't know how the whole lap system thing works, if this stacks on top of the actual stats or not. If I do get this werewolf horse, I would love to like check this out myself. But this is a really, really great ability for Mastery 1. For Mastery 3, we do have the Rejuvenating Dash. This is really good for cross country. We have this 25% reduced stamina usage at nighttime, which is universal. This works for everything. And then Nightfall, in your final event lap, gain 25 stamina, which is more useful, I feel like, for cross country than it is for racing, because like for races, stamina isn't really something that we really care about. But the werewolf itself is an amazing racehorse. So yeah, if you really want to get into races and you're a new player, if you do pull this werewolf horse, you're going to be great for races. Not to say that you can't race with the Transylvanian Night Stalker. So the vampire horse also has 100 speed, but the stats for this are a little different. So stamina is its worst stat. So you will need to practice a lot of sliding if you want to race with this. But the Transylvanian Night Stalker is a show jumper. Lots and lots of stats spread across speed, agility, acceleration. Jump is the weakest stat, but I kind of feel like jump, you don't really need to have maximum jump to do well in show jumping horses. So you can kind of offset this. Abilities, you get extra stamina for each successive jump. So if you're really good at jumping anyway, you don't need stamina, guys. You will be totally fine. Mastery 3, we get a burst of stamina after completing a jump perfectly in an event. So again, you have more ways to regenerate stamina. Stamina is not an issue for this show jumping horse. Then you have this one, which is the nighttime perk of extra stamina usage. And then nightfall in your final event, gain 25 stamina. So again, just another way to sort of give you more stamina in those show jumping events. But yeah, Transylvanian Night Stalker is more of a show jumper and maybe even a cross-country horse as well, if you can time your jumps perfectly or great plus, you know, because that's what you really want to aim for in those show jumping and cross-country events. So yeah, these horses, they are top contenders for events, but they are not the top contender for their respective events. So thankfully these horses are still somewhat balanced, but if you do want to use them, they are going to be valid. But the odds of getting them are just so stupidly low, guys. So please, please, please do not spend your life savings on this horse. I do recommend, if you're a free player, if you do want to just kind of give the banner a run, like just do a couple pulls and see how you do, definitely do so. But please don't feel pressured to pull on this banner. You don't need these horses. We are going to be getting more limited time fantasies in the future, and if you don't get lucky with this banner, then that just means this is not the banner and we're just gonna have to wait for the next one. No, there's going to be plenty of opportunities to get more horses. But if you do want to summon on this, good luck. You're gonna need it. I'm gonna need it because I do want to at least try to get one of these horses to showcase on the channel. I'm just a little bit afraid of what our odds are going to look like for this. So I'm a little on the fence. So you know, I think I need a little confidence boost, you know, as always. I think we got to go back to our roots. So I think to give me that confidence, guys, if you could, please leave a like on this video. If we can get, let's do 200 likes. If we can get 200 likes on this video, we will do a 10 summon on the Creatures of the Night banner, just to try for one of the fantasy horses. I am terribly nervous on this because yeah, just the odds of not getting the fantasy are so incredibly high. It is not funny. But yeah, leave a like on the video if you want to see me try to pull this in a video. It's gonna be very expensive, it's gonna be very nerve-wracking, and I swear, guys, I'm gonna have to come up with like the craziest summoning ritual to just get one of these horses to join my stable, because oh my gosh, I don't know. I don't know if we're even going to be able to get one of these, you know. We gotta pray. We gotta pray. So 200 likes, guys. Leave a like on the video if you do want to see it. I will make it happen. But I'm not feeling confident. I am not feeling confident at all. Before we close out today's video, let's vote in today's photo contest, because I did not vote for today's photo contest yet. The theme is Halloweeny. Phantom Riders is the theme for the photo contest this week. So we've been seeing a lot of shiny fantasies. Already we are seeing a red horse in Bronco. Love the outfit on the rider, actually. That is so cool. Ooh, that is super cute. On the right though, Phantom Riders. This is more Phantom Ridery for me, I personally feel, especially with the setting. The moon, the forest, a spectral fox, and 2 haunted horses. I think it just kind of makes sense that we vote for the one on the right. So we're gonna vote for that one. Phantom Riders. Okay, so we have a player here in the bear cave sleeping next to, laying down next to the bear, which I have to say, you're very, very brave to do that. And then we have a player here on a horse, and it's very dark. It's really, really dark. It's actually really hard to see this picture. Phantom Riders. It's kind of hard. Both these pictures are not really giving me Phantom Rider themes. So I think we're gonna go for the one on the left. I do think it looks a little bit better than the picture on the right, because the right one is really dark. And oh my gosh, what is this? We have somebody drowning in one of the cauldrons. That's funny. That's actually very funny. And then we have a vampire hanging out in the middle of the Heartside Fountain at night. Neither of these are Phantom Riders. I don't know. I think we're just gonna vote for this one because it's funny. Oh my vote for this one. That is a very funny picture. Okay, Phantom Riders. So we have a player petting their horse in some wheat. Not really giving me Phantom Rider vibes. And then we have a player kind of just standing there with their fire flourished quarter horse Aussie paint. I don't know what breed that is. I think I'm leaning a little bit more towards the right because that is definitely a bit more Phantom Ridery to me. Like, I think of Phantom as in like a ghost horse. So we're going to vote for the ghost horse. Even though the picture on the right looks pretty, it's just pretty. It doesn't really fit the theme. Like if the other picture wasn't on theme, then I'd probably vote for the one on the left. Okay, and we got a dupe. I mean, neither picture matches the theme. Although the horse on the left is actually kind of funny looking. Look at the grin. Look at the grin. Okay, they don't fit. They don't fit the theme. Okay, Phantom Rider. What is creepy? The horse teeth are creepy. We vote for the horse teeth. I'm voting for the teeth. Oh my gosh, it's 9%. I think it scared off everyone else too. Okay, thank goodness we got 2 theme photos next. Okay, so we have a player riding the Vulcan Frisian. Can't really see the player, unfortunately. But Phantom Rider, yes, very on theme. But we have this one here though, which was also kind of Phantom Ridery. So a fire flourished Ace of Pegasus with the Pegasus foal, and it's at nighttime. This one's kind of tough. I kind of like the one on the right because it's posed really interestingly. Yeah, I think we're going to do the one on the right. Because like the Vulcan picture looks great as well. But yeah, the one on the right, I think it's just overall a really interesting photo to look at. Next up, yeah, okay. Phantom Rider, no. I mean, this is not really Phantom Rider either, but at least it does feel like a little bit more effort was put into the photo. I think it just, I can't vote for the left, guys. I'm sorry. I really cannot find myself voting for that picture on the left because it just, I don't know what that is. Thank you. Okay, thank you for giving us on-theme photos. So 2 interesting photos. We have a picture of a knight jumping on their night glow, which Phantom Rider, yes. We have a black and white photo though of a horse. During night, it's raining and storming with glowing eyes. I think I vote for the one on the left because it is a really cool photo. I do like how they've posed this. The fact that they posed their horse jumping. Next up, Phantom Riders. Okay, so a player with 2 foals and their horse as well in the redwoods versus a gold flourished Arabian. I guess it's like kind of poking its head behind the tree, and it's also next to the little patch of mushrooms that's in the redwoods. Okay, Phantom Riders. What would I vote for? I like the horse on the right, but I think the left is more Phantom Ridery actually, because you have the player there with their horse and they are kind of matching. So we'll vote for the left. And our last 2 photos. Okay, so we have a player with their luminous spirit rearing under the moon. And then we have this photo of a player rearing with a fire flourished, I think it's an American paint. I think this one just more Phantom Ridery. This one it's just a generic picture. This one, because it's posed, I think I'm gonna pick this one. Yeah, just because this picture is really nicely posed. I really like the color for this picture as well. It's beautiful and blue. And time to claim our free rubbish gift because I never get anything good with these. Yoink. And I got feed. But yeah, that's going to be it for today's upload. Hopefully wild horses are fixed next week because then I'd be able to film my wild horse video. It's Friday today. I'm kind of hoping the update gets patched in today, but I kind of doubt it. I kind of feel like the bug for wild horses were quite complex. So I think Foxy is probably going to need a little bit of time to get those fixed. So we'll have to see what happens. Hopefully it's fixed soon though, because it was pretty fun doing the wild horse thing. And I do want to sort of explain the wild horse mechanics to you guys because there were so many players with questions yesterday. Not yesterday, the day before when it launched. Because it's a new feature. Everyone wants to know how it works and everyone wants to know how to get those rewards. But until then, guys, that's going to be it for today. I'll see you in my next upload, but have a great weekend and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.